Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Let's see if anybody finds us. Hello there. Hello, Chai. How you doing, buddy? Let's see what happens here. How you doing, silly boy? You know, I don't. Oh, there we go. Now I can actually see a comment. Fantastic. Hello, Matthew. How are you? Until now, there have been no comments visible. So I'm gonna keep talking about eating meat, but I'll take a look at your questions. Hello, George. Hello, Judy. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Matthew says, you think it's necessary to remove liver and gallstones via flushes? No, those flushes are bullshit. Fasting is the single most effective way to remove that stuff. The gallbladder flush is the gallstones are olive oil and bile. Those things don't do anything. Never heard you talk about these stones. Anybody? Yes, you know you did. You don't need those. These flushes are not typically what we need to do. Typically, do not need these things at all. Hello, Nessie Ra. Good to see you. Matthew asks if you have fast 21 days at a young age, say 18, to make excellent choices. Would one more fast likely be enough? I can't answer the question. I don't know what's likely. I mean, if you fast for the first time at 18, but you've grown up in a terribly toxic environment, that might not do it. You grew up in Chernobyl. If you grew up in the mountains of Costa Rica and you only ate the fresh food that your family grew and picked and breathed fresh air and drank pure water, as we have here, yeah, maybe you only need a couple of fasts, but everyone's so different. There's no way to make a blanket statement about that. Okay. What's a good way to test whether another fast? A good way to test whether you need to fast again is when you have a long weekend, is to take a few days and fast and see how you feel. When I fast, I feel perfectly fine because my body is not cleansing or healing. It's not detoxing. So, Marike has, there you go. You figured it out. She says, I figured out how to donate. They're a quick guide with rules about living in your community. I still have some questions about it. Maybe a guide would answer a lot of them. Yes, thank you. It's a great idea. There's a website that we actually have a website, but the text on it, I had someone do it for me that said she understood it and could make it happen. Was a writer, and unfortunately, it doesn't really talk about what we needed to. And so, and by the way, you've just noticed that I've changed direction because the practice when someone donates here, which is what allows me to keep doing this, is I usually go right to that question. I won't interrupt another question, but as soon as I'm done, I'm going to go to that question. And so Marika has made a donation of 10 euros 99, which is very, very generous. Thank you. I'm very grateful for that. So I'll talk a little bit about the community. And it's interesting you're asking about it because just yesterday, I took a few people who were leaving here down to see the land, and we actually hiked down the river to the top of the second highest waterfall, where you can look over the edge down 1,000 feet, see this amazing view of the valley. It's incredible. It's such a gorgeous place. So the community, first of all, is for people who are interested in eating a frugivore-based diet, right? It's a diet based on fruit and leafy greens. For those people who don't want to be raw vegans, it's not the place for you because there will be no stoves, no ovens, no grills, no cooking permitted in the community. Okay? The community is for those people that want to be raw. And the idea is to create a place where it's safe to do that, where you're not, you don't seem strange to anyone. This is simply what people do. Everyone understands. You can raise your children in an environment where they're not constantly being exposed to all the crap that's out there in the world. I mean, it's not going to be possible to prevent them from seeing it forever. If you show movies, etc., they're going to see things. But it's different than having it be in their face. And I believe this is going to make it much easier for a lot of people, both for themselves and for their children. I believe it's going to make it possible for people to succeed where they might not otherwise. And for others of us, I mean, I'm perfectly fine now, 28 plus years living this way. I don't need anyone's support. I don't need. I don't care what other people around me think. It doesn't affect me what other people are doing. I make my own choices. However, what's clear is that I would love to be surrounded by people who actually get it, right? So people who are clued in. Again, I mean, I'm every day now, it seems, coming back around. I'm dealing with these people with, these meat-based diets. They're just trolling. They're posting their ridiculous comments, but absurd stuff. I mean, how can anyone believe that? It's beyond me. We know enough, right? The science is really, really clear. But so the community is for people. First of all, it's an intentional community, and that means, the idea isn't to isolate yourself. Lots will purposely be relatively small because that's what works best. We have another donation and Zbubs, and I'll get to your comment, your question, as soon as I'm done with Marique's. But what works best is to have people on relatively small lots with lots of common land. So, we wind up maybe creating common gardens and planting fruit trees for everyone, and having common tools, and maybe a common laundry center is planned. And there's a common house where we'll have community meetings a couple times a week, community dinners, but where people will meet because some people will go there to get online, and some people will go there to do their laundry, and some people will go there to meditate, or some people go there to get a book because rather than spending a lot of money on books, on everyone having a big library, we can have a library for the community. You can donate books, and you need less space in your own house. I mean, if they're ones you want yourself, that's okay. You're welcome to have these things if you want to. It's not like you're not permitted to have internet in your home. You can. You can have laundry in your home if you want to. But the idea is to design something that actually fosters community, where the idea is to cooperate. Because what we want to practice doing is being in cooperation, coming from the heart, being as loving as possible, supporting each other in our journey, helping each other in any way that we can. And I believe that life is much richer when we live that way. And so those are really the primary requirements. Is we want to make sure that people are the right people. And so typically what happens in intentional communities with people we don't know is they're required to come spend I'm not sure yet if it's going to be 2 or 3 months in Las Cascadas, but they'll spend 2 or 3 months, they'll rent a place, and they'll stay there for 2 or 3 months. And that way they'll actually, the community gets a chance to meet them. And what happens is at the end, the community decides. I mean, the people may decide they don't want to be there, but even if they want to be there, the community ultimately determines yes or no. Okay, and that's how it works. I mean, that's typical for intentional communities. This intentional community won't be any different. The community will be on a fair amount of land. I don't know exactly yet because we have to sort of figure out what we're doing with all the land that we currently have under contract. But there'll be a lot more land than lots, which means a lot of the land will be communal land, right? It'll belong to the community itself, not to an individual. And on that land, we'll plant as many fruit trees as we can. We'll also create, maybe places for kids to play, and more than that. But this is basically the idea. So, but coming up with a guide. I mean, I'm not really sure what else there is. Those are going to be the primary things. If you have other questions, you are of course welcome to ask them, either here or in some other format. Okay, so let me go to Zbub, because Zbub also made a donation of $5 Canadian. Thank you, Zbub, very much. Zbub says, does 10% more hydrated equal having a 10% thicker penis? I asked earlier, but don't know if it was answered. No, it doesn't mean that. The girth of your manhood isn't simply about how hydrated you are. People are born with different size members, and while increasing blood flow is going to affect that, it's not going to be the sole determinant of that. Okay, I hope that's clear. So there's lots of questions, and good morning to everyone who's here. I see Bob just posted. Eric, good to see you. JJRU. Okay, I'm not sure how to say your name. Fibrosis says the foreskin can barely be pulled back. Yes, I understand what fibrosis is. I didn't see the first part of your question. And this is a good question. Zebub, don't be afraid to ask about these things. Small penis and fibrosis is seen as a problem and probably a result of dehydrated and unhealthy body. Well, it's certainly, again, it's certainly part of it, but it's almost certainly not the only factor. Fibrosis, which is, it's like, it's funny because I was just answering a question about this. Now I can't remember what they're called, but they're like when you have surgery in your abdomen, there's almost always going to be these bands of scar tissue, which make it difficult. I mean, what happens is your organs get tied up by this stuff. They get attached. And this is not a very positive thing. So, hey, leave that alone. Leave that alone, please. Got a kitty chewing on the cable again. So, yeah, I mean, having fibrosis is difficult for sure. It can be painful. And that is something that can almost always be healed, at least to some degree. Completely or not is another question. But, I'm not sure if we need to say anything else about the animal products thing. Maybe I'll go ahead and just respond to as many of these questions as I can in the 15 or so minutes that I've got left with you. And thanks to those of you who were with me before and left. I'm not sure what was going on. We had all kinds of technical issues. Now that we're back, I can see all the messages and comments and appreciate that. Again, by the way, two things. One, as you can see, you have the ability to make a donation here. It's very much appreciated and helps me take my very precious too little time and spend it online with you. It makes that possible. Also, don't forget the thumbs up. If you're enjoying this video, if this is helpful to you, then that would be great to do that. Hello, George. I think I said hello to you before. Let's see. Where were we? Do I have any opinions on Buteyko breathing? Yes, it's fine. I mean, what do you recommend Mike White's breathing mastery kit? Yeah, Mike is an old friend. I've known Mike for many years. He's been to Tanglewood on several occasions. And in fact, he spoke at the Fruit Festival here a couple of years ago. Yeah, his work is incredibly powerful. If you're not familiar with Mike and his work, you should go to breathing.com and check it out, because it is definitely worth investing in. His work, he can help you for sure. I mean, breathing is critically important, and a lot of people don't do it very well. Now, I mean, just getting your body clean and functioning as well as possible helps quite a bit, right? So there's a breathing test on his website. And before Mike and I ever met, we were both speaking at the same large event, maybe 18 or 20 years ago. And there was a list of speakers, and I was like, Mike White, who is the, breathing.com, who is this guy? So I clicked on a link, went to his website, and there's this breathing test on the homepage. I don't remember exactly how it goes, but you can go there and check it out, breathing.com. But I took the test where you put your answer, your whatever result, into a little box, and you click on it. And about 2 minutes later, I get an email from Mike White, who I'd never met before, and he says, I guess he was getting the results in real time. He happened to be sitting in front of his computer when I sent it, so he saw this come up, and he says to me, his first email, he says, "Are you a breathing teacher?" Because he rarely saw results that good. Now, I wasn't a breathing teacher. I had done some work with pranayama in yoga studies, but primarily I'd gotten my body really clean, had kept it hydrated, and at that point I was already, that's probably been 20 years or more, because I was probably 7 or 8 years raw, and I'm 28 plus years raw now. But anyway, that was my introduction to Mike White. And we wound up meeting at this big event and doing some work together. And we've worked together on various occasions. So he's a great guy. I do recommend it. I think you'll find it to be very valuable. Dick says, last live stream you said a bunch of people completed their 16-day fast. There were 3 of them that completed 16-day fast. They all eliminated old hard material. We now have 8 or 10 people who are completing their 21-day process today, tomorrow. I think I'm confused because we had 2 people who had booked, early flights or something and needed to leave early. 3 people who already left, and so we still have 6 or 7. I think it's 7 more who are completing their 21-day fast. They completed a 21-day fast, complete 7 days of refeeding tomorrow. All of them eliminated old material. Of the 3 people who already left, I interviewed 2 of them. One of them would have been happy. The other one would have been happy, I think, to be interviewed, but it was too late. I mean, I've been so busy, I didn't get a chance until this morning, and then she wasn't around until it was time for her to leave. And so we didn't actually get a chance to record that interview. But the other 2 people talk about the old material. And everybody, if they follow my coaching, everyone eliminates this old stuff, Dick. Everyone does. Okay. Wow. Mateen Razi has just donated 100 Canadian dollars. Is that 100 Canadian dollars? Wow. Thank you so much. That is so generous. I'm truly grateful. Mateen, you haven't posted a question here. Do you have a question? Is there something I can answer for you? Because you certainly have my attention with that. So feel free to come back if you want to. I'm going to continue scrolling down, but if you want to post a question, let me see if you've done anything yet. Yes, no. Mateen simply says, "Thank you for sharing your knowledge and experience. You are very, very welcome." It's a privilege. We live in an interesting time. Some of you perhaps have grown up with the internet, right? Some of you have grown up and may take some of these things for granted. But I was in my 40s before I got my first email address. I was probably, how old is YouTube and Facebook? These are what, 10, 15 years old now. I was in my mid 40s then. I'll be 59 soon. And so most of my life now was lived without these things. And I recognize that the internet's an incredibly powerful tool, and it allows me to share my experience. Unfortunately, the negative side of this, the downside is that there are also people who, how do I say this? I'm not sure exactly how to say this. What I'm trying to say is it's a positive and a negative thing, right? Because anybody can get online and post videos, even if they don't really know what they're talking about. And so, for instance, let me go back here, because this woman I was responding to last night on one of my videos was talking about how she had cravings and felt depressed eating a fruit-based diet. And it's interesting because many people become emotionally much healthier when they switch to a fruit-based diet. But why might that happen? It's simple. Her body was detoxifying. Okay, she says she had challenging periods and now they're easy, now that she lives on a meat-based diet. But her body ceased to be able to detoxify. And so again, it's so important for us to understand, to be able to differentiate between being healthy and, detoxing and being sick. We think that there's something wrong if we have symptoms. And what it means is the body needs to detoxify. But I've shared many examples, various examples before, of people who were not detoxifying, not because they weren't toxic, but because they weren't able to. And if you eat a heavy enough diet, your body can no longer efficiently detoxify. And that's what happens to many people. So, it's absurd to think that, this is what most people do still today, is they're looking for ways to suppress symptoms. Yeah, but how about herbs? How about drinking your own pee? How about using turpentine? How about all these other crazy things that people do, all in the name of suppressing symptoms? These things do not heal you. The body's self-healing. Okay, I can't heal your body. Tanglewood is, I think the value of Tanglewood, if people come here thinking I'm going to heal them, they're mistaken, right? Tanglewood is an amazing place, this place, because we've created peace and tranquility and a safe space where there's knowledge, a lot of experience around fasting. Thousands of people over 23 years now. I fasted more than 3 years of my life, so I have a little bit of personal experience with this, but with thousands of clients as well. And that's the beauty. But it's important for people to understand that all we're trying to do here is get out of the body's way so the body can heal itself. We are not doing the healing. We are never doing the healing. The body is always doing the healing because only the organism can heal the organism. Okay, I see I'm running out of time. I'm going to scroll back up here and see what else we had here question-wise. Let me see. And this, by the way, again, I'm very, very grateful to those of the three of you who've made donations today. The fact is, there's never going to be time for me to answer all the questions here. And unfortunately, I'm so busy that my likelihood now of getting back to do this, it's not very high. So, the best way to get your question answered is to make a donation because you're going to get my immediate attention. That's simply the way it works. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm still trying to find out where we were. Okay, I think I was here. What's a good way to test whether another fast would, I already answered that one. How do you deal with traveling and eating? Easy, I travel and I eat. It's not that hard to get fruit or salad pretty much everywhere. Airports aren't always the best, but I can usually get a lame salad at, and when I'm flying out, anytime I'm getting on a plane, I'm getting on a plane with a bag of fruit in most cases. I'm gonna have shopped before. I guess every once in a while there's a situation where I can't do that. But generally speaking, I arrange my life where I can go and get the fruit I need to travel before I get on the plane. And you can get on a plane. I've never been denied carrying fruit onto a plane. Now, you can't carry it off the plane in many places. You can't bring it into the U.S. from outside of the U.S. You can't bring it into California from another state. That's illegal in California to bring fruit in from another state. There are some places where you can bring fruit in. They don't care. They don't even ask or pay attention. But in many places you can't do that. So, but getting on the plane is easy. So I can easily travel with the food I need. It's not difficult. When I get wherever I'm going, one of the first things I do is I locate an organic market. And sometimes I'll go and find myself an Asian market as well. If I'm in a place where I can get some durian, I'll often go do that because it's difficult to get here, and I love it. So, I'll eat it a few times a year when I'm traveling at this point, and occasionally here in Costa Rica. Eventually, in the future, we'll have tons of it here. We're going to plant hundreds and hundreds of trees. We've already planted quite a few. Unfortunately, most of them didn't make it because it's difficult to grow here where we are. It's very finicky trees. All right. So Alejandro's asking, what do I think about Manuka honey? Can the body get rid of its sugars? Yes, the body can get rid of the sugars, but it's a simple sugar. And so you're taxing the body just as you are with processed sugar. It may not be quite as bad as white sugar, but I don't recommend eating much honey. I don't eat it myself because I'm a vegan. I've tried it even since going vegan, but I wouldn't eat it again. And it's bees make honey for themselves, so they have food for the winter. I don't want to take their food. I don't want to force them to do slave labor. I would just as soon find other things to eat. And what do I need to sweeten living on a fruit-based diet? So I see here, by the way, that we are down to 8% battery, and I'm only down to a few more minutes. So I'm not sure whether the clock is going to run out or the battery is going to run out first. But I'll be here until one of those two things does. If I disappear, it was my battery. Dick says, when I need to do a presentation or try to participate in class, I get a lot of anxiety. I don't know why this is happening. What can I do? Well, I don't know why it's happening either, Dick, but it's very common. Picking this kitty up because he's chewing on my microphone cable. It'd be nice if you didn't do that. Fingers on my shirt, please. This is one of the purrs. We still have only 3 of the 5. You still can't see them. Only 3 of the 5 who purr when petted. The other 2 are still a little shy. Now keep your face out of there, please. fear of public speaking is really, really common. And, I mean, there's a lot of fear, right? People are motivated primarily by fear, Dick. And it may well be that it comes back to self-worth, the concern with how other people see us. I mean, ultimately, I think what's really healthy is to get to the point where you love yourself and you feel good about yourself and you don't really care what other people think. You're comfortable enough with yourself. I mean, first of all, what if you stand up and don't do the best job with a presentation? It's almost as if we internalize this to mean I'm a bad person. There's something wrong with me. You're not a bad person. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just a presentation. It has no meaning. I've screwed up presentations. I like to think I'm a pretty good public speaker, but there have been times where it hasn't been that good. And so, it's all relative, and there's no reason to judge yourself, right? You can say, okay, that wasn't a great performance. That's fine, but relax and, accept yourself and be okay with whatever happened. And if it wasn't the best performance, figure out how to make it better next time. But don't make it about you, about your value, okay? By the way, I mean, I do a lot of work with people around this. So if this is something you're interested in, we can set up a consultation and talk more about what's going on for you. But of course, getting your body clean, getting toxins out of your body dramatically reduces anxiety and makes everything easier in general. I mean, most people feel pretty mellow, pretty chill once all the garbage is out of the body. So it changes everything. It really does. It's enormous, amazing, the difference. Okay, we are now getting very close to the end here. A few minutes and 5% battery. So let me scroll down. George says 2020 is the year I moved finally from non-veg to veg eating. It's been an amazing until now. That's fantastic. Congratulations, George. I thank you. I congratulate you for making an intelligent choice, and I thank you for the animals, for the planet, because it makes a big difference for everybody. And I see that ITAC has just made a €10 donation. Thank you, ITAC. I don't see a question associated with that. Good morning, Stephanie. I just see your thing. Thanks for the chat yesterday. It was my pleasure. I'm excited. I sent you a follow-up. I saw your message. I've been so busy up until now that I haven't had a chance to get to it. I'll have to go to town today, but I'm hoping that at some point, maybe even this morning, between things, I have a lecture in just a few minutes. Maybe when I come back in from the lecture, I have no problem sending you my details via email. I do that all the time with clients. So I'll get those details off to you, and I'm excited too. And for the rest of you, Stephanie's talking about the community. For anyone else interested, remember there's an opportunity right now to save 20%, to be part of what will be, I promise you, this is going to be an epic thing. You're going to want to get into this while you can, because it's amazing. It's going to be truly amazing. And there's going to be all kinds of amazing opportunities. So it is time for me to go. I hope everyone's well. If I didn't get to your question today, I apologize. You can post a little earlier next time. I'm usually here at 9 o'clock or just after Costa Rica time on Fridays. And of course, as you've seen, if you make a donation, which is so much appreciated, then I'll come right to your question. So that's the way to shortcut it. Again, if you found this useful or beneficial to you, please consider sharing it on your Facebook page or otherwise. Also, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. That helps us. I appreciate that very much. And I will look forward to seeing all of you, I hope, the same time next Friday, 9 a.m. Costa Rica time. I'll be here. Hope to see you too. If you speak Spanish, I'll be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. in Spanish time. I didn't see ITAC's question. Was there a question, ITAC? Oh, there we go. I see it's underneath. Is it safe to fast with a pacemaker? Yes, it is. We have fasted many people with pacemakers. It's no problem at all. It's important for us to know that you have a pacemaker, because when we measure your body composition, body fat, muscle mass, and hydration, we're putting you on a machine that puts a small amount of electric current through your body. It's called bioimpedance analysis. And You cannot do that if you have a pacemaker, because the current that we're putting, it's a tiny, tiny amount of current, but it's enough to upset the pacemaker. So someone with pacemaker we can still weigh them, but we can't measure the other things. We have to turn that piece off. So it's important to know that. Okay, anyway, listen, it's been great to see you all. Hey, Philip, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. I hope you're having a fantastic week, everybody, and I'll look forward to seeing you same time next week. I don't know if, I don't have a name for this guy yet, but you want to say goodbye there, buddy? He's burning his little head off. Anyway, see you next time. Bye-bye.